Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Help me to get to 100 subscribers. I really appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber of the Locked On Commanders podcast hosted by David Harrison, then you probably should be. He gives good analysis on the Commanders. He does a lot of research. He provides insightful information. And so check out Locked On Commanders by David Harrison. And the reason I bring him up is because he posed a question in his latest podcast. And the question was, what can be done to ensure that Jayden Daniels doesn't have a sophomore slump? And it wasn't that exact question, but that's what it was alluding to. And I didn't look at the episode because I didn't want to be tainted in my ideas about it. I wanted to give a response on my own. So I decided to jump on the mic and give my own perspective, and I hope you give yours in the comments below. So, first of all, I believe that Jayden Daniels will not have a sophomore slump. I just don't believe it. And but it's possible. And people like to point at C.J. Stroud in the year he had last year. And I say that last year was more impressive for me for C.J. Stroud than the first year, because he took that team to the playoffs and won a playoff game. And so that's good. That's sort of solidifying that you're a franchise quarterback. And that offensive line was not as good as the first year. So that being said, a couple things I think the Commanders could and should do to ensure that Jayden Daniels doesn't have a sophomore slump. Number one is get in a lab, work hard all summer, self-scout, work on the weaknesses or the things you can improve at. And that can help ensure that you don't have a precipitous drop off. That being said, I really believe that Jayden has the type of character that, and Cliff Kingsbury, that they will be grinding all summer. I think Cliff will come up with some new schemes, schemed up plays. And I think that he will sort of fine tune some of the plays that didn't particularly work too well. And we know Jayden will work on the things that he's weakest at. After the season, he commented that he's going to bulk up a little bit. And he commented that he's going to work on some things that he feels he needs to get better at. So that's all you can ask. So if you do those things, you're headed in the right direction. Number two, I think that you have to get him a couple more weapons. I like the route you're going right now with Debo and getting a left tackle. But I think if you get a home run hitter type running back and you get a wide receiver to put with Debo and Terry, I think that increases the likelihood that Jayden Daniels won't have a sophomore slump and that the team will at least make it back to the playoffs. And finally, I say, and this is sort of ancillary to the to Jayden, but it certainly does affect Jayden. I think they really need to tighten up that defense. If you take a step back defensively, then you're going to naturally see Jayden Daniels trying to play hero ball a little too much. And we don't want him leading the team in rushing. And that is, and by the fact of him not leading the team in rushing, that automatically means that he might take a step back statistically. But at the end of the day, I think you got to shore up that defense to ensure that he can be as efficient as possible, that this team can get rolling, and then it won't appear that he's in a sophomore slump. All right. So those are my thoughts on, so many things Jaden can do to avoid a sophomore slump. And again, I don't believe he will have one. And it's hardly possible that statistically he may take a step back. But the question is, how do you end the season? So, so what do you think? Leave a comment. What do you think? Some of the things that could be done to avoid a sophomore slump. And I don't think it's really an issue of avoiding a sophomore slump. I just think that we want him to stay the course and play well enough for the team to be as good as they can be. All right, so I'll see you in the comments.